And then this is for the first time the inter-Korean people-to-people exchange occurred. 150 South Koreans and the same number of North Koreans crossed the DMZ in opposite directions, and then they met. This is dispersed family from North and South. And people separated from their families during the Korean War, and artists and journalists, they all, there was exchange program, and they spent like 3 nights and 4 days. And I still clearly remember like the first meeting of these two separated people, and I do not have any connection to North Korea. But as soon as I watched, I cried a lot too. I don't know why, but I'm not that emotional because my I told you that my MBTI is ENTJ, sometimes INTJ, and then I do not cry much, but this was quite thin. I maybe next week I'll show the video how it was, but I was quite it was quite thin, quite sad scene between the two. So I mean, I still remember like this scene. I saw that too. So I saw on the TV, not this picture, but like after 3 days later, they had to separate again, right? And then like he is quite old, but still he cried. And then there are a lot of very some families became really famous. Some people were husband and wife, or like some people were just brothers and sisters, or a father and mother and son. They were all separated like that, and then for the first time they met. And then some people were so sad that some people who couldn't meet, well, they were really sad because they couldn't meet their families. So some people, they applied to meet North Korea, but the thing is, the North Korean family wanted to meet him too. So there was a, like mutual. The two mutual side, I mean, both sides wanted to meet together, right? But if the one side didn't want to meet, then the meeting is not, achieved. Then some people were, killed, suicide. I still remember like there was news that like one guy applied to meet separated family program, and he couldn't meet, so that's why he suicided like that. I mean, the separated family meeting stayed lasted quite long. I mean, it occurred quite long, even though the relationship between North Korea and South Korea wasn't quite good. Even at the time, the program quite last long, as far as I remember. I mean, we will keep following whether how long uh, it lasts. And there was the Asian game. During the Asian game, the cooperation was halted because of North Korea. So North Korea abruptly halted cooperation, called on the communist country to boycott the 1986 Asian Games, scheduled to be hosted in Seoul. So North Korea never hold this kind of Olympic Games, but South Korea, it was first time, right, for South Korea to hold this kind of huge event worldwidely. And then North Korea was quite jealous what we have done. So North Korea opted up. They tried to interrupt South Korea by calling on communist countries. So they say like you should boycott the Asian game, but it wasn't affected that much. So there was the Asian game in 1986, September 14th. So a high performance homemade timed bomb suddenly exploded in metal trash can next to the soft drink vending machine located between the fifth and sixth exterior doors on the first floor of Gimpo International Airport International Terminal in Seoul. So there was another terror attack. So not only North Korea tried to boycott the participation of Asian game, but also they terror in Seoul in 1986 to interrupt the Asian game. At that time, there was no Incheon International Airport. At that time, there was only one international airport, that is Gimpo International Airport. And inside of Gimpo International Airport, there was a bombing exploded in Seoul. The explosion killed a family of 4 passengers and 1 employee of International Airport Corporation, now Korean Air Corporation, totaling 5 fatalities and injured 38 others with serious and minor injuries. So 5 people were died because of this terror. And it was determined that Abu Nidal, so he's not North Korean or he's even Korean, but he got order from North Korea. So acting on North Korea's order, infiltrated agent into South Korea to carry out a bombing attack. So this is picture of Gimpo International Airport at the time, and this is the picture of Abdul. So what is exact? Abu Nida. Abu Nida. So it's name of Abu Nida. So Abu Nida was caught by Korean government, and if he said that he got order from North Korea, and he succeeded terror attack in Asian game to prevent the Asian game. And this is picture of bombing. So you can see like people got injured, and then because it's bombed right next to the vending machine, so there were at the time 4 passengers were waiting for the airplane, and then they were all killed by bombing. And then I wanted to explain like Kim Jong-il. So our first the North Korea's first leader was Kim Il Sung, and then I explained like how he got power, right? So when he got power, he had a 성분 system, right? So he divided into people into 3, and because there was an attempt that some people wanted to get rid of Kim Jong-il, so, and then we learned how he consolidated his power when he came to right after the power. But there was several attempts to get rid of Kim Il Sung within North Korea, but they all failed. And then Kim Il Sung tried to transfer his power not to other people but also his son. So that's the main difference between China and North Korea. So China, there is a room for democracy, become democratization and democracy. And then even though both countries are same in terms of like socialist country, but there is clear difference between the two. These days, because of Xi Jinping, things has been changed. But before the Xi Jinping, there was a term in China. So you can see like there was a Mao Zedong and Deng Xiaoping, Hu Jintao, and Xi Jinping. The leaders has been changed, right, over time, because there was a clear term. So how there is, like it's already decided that how long they can be in power. But the thing is, North Korea, you cannot see like the leaders has been changed, right? There's change, of course, but Kim Il Sung and Kim Il Sung's son, Kim Jong Il, became the second leader of North Korea. And then after the death of Kim Jong Il, Kim Jong Un now is the leader. But we can actually expect that Kim Jong Un will be in power maybe before he died, right? As long as he died. So after Kim Jong Il is dead, but we don't know who will be the next leader. But we can presume that his son or his daughter will be the president of North Korea. That's the difference between China and North Korea. In China, Deng Xiaoping, he is pro capitalism, so pro openness. So he thinks that the Deng Xiaoping thinks that we have to open its economy. And then since it's not like a blood relationship between these leaders, there's still struggle and conflict, checks and balance works in China. So they can find a better way to manage their economy at least. But South Korea and North Korea is a completely different story because it's like blood relationship. The father holds the power, and then after the father, the son got the power like that way. So Kim Jong Il became a power, but we will learn how he hold the power. So in 1980 October, so that's the starting point. There was a sixth party congress held. Why the sixth party congress was held? Because to transfer power from Kim Il Sung to Kim Jong Il, it was actually the ready to transfer. The Kim Jong Il was elected as a member of Politburo Standing Committee, a secretary of Secretariat, and member of the military commission. So actually, if he becomes the secretary of the political party, that means actually he's the leader of the North Korea by acquiring titles from both major organs. That is like standing committee, secretary, military commissions. The military commission and standing committees. That's the two major organs in North Korea. He effectively ascended to the top level, and his election as a military commissioner marked a beginning of his control over the military. Let's look at his picture. Let's look at his biography a little. So he was born in 1941. So he's dead. He's dead. But anyway, he died in 2011. He was born in 1941, February 16th. And he studied abroad in Jilin Academy in China in 1950. So when he was like 9 years old, he was sent to China to study. Jilin. And he graduated from the Department of Political Economy at Kim Il-sung University in 1964. And he actually graduated. So Kim Il-sung University is the best university in North Korea. And then he studied same as me, political economy. But I don't understand why he can't understand the socialist doesn't work. But anyway, he graduated from Kim Il-sung University. He joined Workers' Party of Korea, North Korea, in 1961. And he became the head of propaganda and agitation department in 1967. So even like if it's 1967, that means he's only 27 years old, right? 26, 7 years old, but he already become the head of the department. That means for a long time, Kim Il-sung actually designated Kim Jong-il as his next leader of North Korea. We can actually see it, right? And Kim Il he became became a member of political committee of the Workers' Party in 1974. So he started to get his power, and the Kim Il Sung was dead in 1994, and then he became finally the leader of North Korea. And he held the first inter-Korean summit with former South Korean president Kim Dae-jung in 2000. So Kim Dae-jung got Nobel Peace Prize because of this. So Kim Dae-jung, he got Nobel Peace Prize to mitigate the tense between the North Korea and South Korea because of this meeting. That was actually the first inter-Korean summit with four summit. But these two leaders never actually had met. But because of Kim Dae-jung, his policy was a sunshine policy. So he saying that we have to stick to sunshine policy to become, to unify the country. And that the sunshine policy became really famous, and then that's the one of the best way to have a good relationship with North Korea. And then we will cover the story for sure. That's very important moment between South and North. And we will also, there is another summit, right? That's President Moon and Trump, Kim Jong Un. With three of the, I mean, North Korea, Kim Jong Un and Moon Jae-in have met, and then three, Moon Jae-in, Kim Jong Un, Trump. That's actually the very first, not only inter-Korean summit but also U.S. summit together, met together. And he died on December 17th, 2011. So we will learn definitely what he has done. So he was a actual power from 1994 to 2011. But before that, he started to involve the politics. And his appointment of a younger Kim indicated that the regime was not open to other years of thinking. So he, Victor Cha actually pointed out that the reason behind why Kim Jong Il, Kim Il Sung give his power to Kim Jong Il. He's saying that we give his power because the North Korea didn't want to change at all. So the important thing that we have to know is that whether North Korea open its economy or not, even these days. So North Korea never tried to open its economy to other world, right? But the Western society and South Korea's main tasks is to open North Korea's economy, at least economy, to other countries, because we think that that's the starting point of change of North Korea. But appointment of the younger Kim, that's Kim Jong Il, Kim Jong Il, right? To indicate that the regime will not change for a long time. And then this is a picture of Kim Jong Il. So I always remember Kim Jong Il's picture like this. So I thought he's always ugly, short, and he has weird hairstyles like that. But he was quite cute when he was young, right? That's the picture of Kim Jong Il when he was a kid, and he's the son of Kim Il Sung. And so, how do we know that Kim Il Sung will not change and will not open its economy to the world? It's because he highly stick to the idea of Juche, the Juche ideology. So in 1981, the newspaper Nodong Shinmun, Nodong newspaper. Nodong means labor. So that's the world. When I wanted to have an idea of the North Korea or news, I usually use the Nodong Shinmun. The Nodong Shinmun, I believe you cannot access from South Korea, but if you are abroad, then I think you can access the Nodong Shinmun. So if you Google a Nodong Shinmun, then you can get some ideas of it. And then if you go to library, then there are some library which has like North Korean materials, newspapers and other things. Then you can go and actually find the newspaper, but you cannot take it out to outside of the library. So Nodong newspaper, if you go to Nodong newspaper, then you can see like what is going on in North Korea, even though they're very closed. And then in newspaper Nodong Shinmun wrote about need for Juche as a way for North Korea to remain independent. So if you think of the world global era at the time, 1980s, then you should think that that's the era of new detente. That means the Soviet Union was under change. So in late 1980s, the Soviet Union completely collapsed, right? So that's actually 1980 was a kind of starting point. It's the window was completely open for a new world. But in 1981, Nodong newspaper actually think about different things. They talk about Juche ideology. They emphasize Juche ideology, why it's important. So why the North Korea remain to be independent? Because they shouldn't open. North Korea shouldn't open. That's independent from other countries, right? So they try to stay still. So Kim Jong-il published on Juche idea. The idea of Juche was linked to Kim Il-sung's personal history, particularly his experience as a Kim Jong-il as a North independence fighter, Korean independence fighter. The future of Juche was linked to Kim Jong-il as a guarantor of its implementation. So Kim Il-sung Kim Il-sung was a fighter of Korean independence, right? But Kim Il-sung was failed to unify as a one country because they failed to unify South Korea, right? But North Korea, but the future of Juche was linked to Kim Jong-il. So that means the idea, Juche ideology is transferred from Kim Il-sung to Kim Jong-il. So Kim Jong-il will be the next leader of North Korea to complete their tasks as a Korean independence. So what is complete Korean independence is unifications of Korea. So who can do that? According to the argument, Kim Jong-il. That's the symbol of Kim Jong-il. So we will keep continually talk about Kim Jong-il in the class.